on. I'm just kind of wiped out. I think it's because I was watching too much TV and I fell asleep on the couch instead of falling asleep on the bed. And so probably slept like crap because of that. That's probably what's going on. Let's see if how low can Fat Sack go. But how was your day going, Ishu? Like, what have you been up to? Doing awesome stuff? Enjoying your weekend? I hope you are. Because even though I'm kind of wiped out, I'm enjoying the weekend. Though Adam's not on, which I'm like, where'd Adam go? He's usually online streaming right now, like all weekend. So I'm like, what happened to that guy? Where'd he go? Maybe he's just not on Discord and he's actually online on Twitch. And I'm missing his stream. No, he's not here. He should be making me some t-shirts. He owes me t-shirts now. We put that on the task list. He's supposed to do that. He's supposed to make those. So I'm gonna have to fly over to Australia and pull a t-shirt out of him. Alright, well, let's see what happens. Well, I'm sure I can weasel an explanation out of him. Or if Bob's Burgers dropped another like humongous bunch of work on them. They do that. They'll show up and just like, oh hey, here's a whole bunch of stuff. You need to do it now. It's just like, oh Adam, no. I thought the t-shirts didn't go well. He was saying like stuff was all messed up. Do I need to go watch his stream? Was he actually lying to me? And look at that. We were able to fit into a Fat Sack sized hole. That's what we like to see. So I'll go run down to the other area real quick and show you the wall climbing ability that we were able to get out of this guy. I turned down the iterations though, so Fat Sack can't climb quite as high, so I need to turn those back up. So Fat Sack can scale mountains 20 times his height. He didn't like two of them? He liked one of them. Well, good. Because I know, like, when he was trying to do some promo art for Dashkin, he ended up not really liking it because before he finished it. Yeah, he was being like super critical of his own art when he was putting it together for like the promo materials because he was trying to draw like, you know, Bitey running into the camera and all that stuff, but he was also, you know, giving himself a lot of problems because he didn't want it to look like every other, you know, piece of promotional art, which just, you know, like Kirby or whatever. Why is he not jumping up there now? Is it because we're against the wall and we actually fixed that part of motion? No, because we're moving up there. Let's just go move our camera back out a little bit. Because I know he was getting upset about his art there because he didn't think it was good. It just looked like everything else. And he like settled on. He's like, fine, it's gonna look like every other piece of promotional art. It's like, Adam, it looks fine. You're just being too hard on yourself. We'll see why Fat Sack is no longer climbing, because we were fixing very small issues. Like we had an issue where we weren't moving into an object fully, so we fixed that, and of course that shows that we have other small bugs. So we're jumping up there, so we should be able to clear the big thing. Why is it not? Where are we failing to mantle? Well, we're gonna have to print a few things out again. Great, love doing that. Yeah, it's real close. Or actually, we had to move a couple points around and all that, but so info log the step 3 ray trace failed on iteration I. This is the sweep one. And this is sweep 2. This is step 2. This one is step 1. Yeah, we're super close to the ground movement just being completely finished. Just a couple more little small things. Because I think this is the last one. The last one being there's probably just some little thing wrong with when we're right up against the wall and we're trying to get up on top of it. And we might have to nudge ourselves back a little bit to do it. Because, yeah, we're mantling up these just fine. So the question would be, why are we not mantling up this guy in? Did we run out of iterations? It's sweep 1 failed on iteration 8. So sweep 1 failed on iteration 8. So iteration 8. So sweep 1. Sweep 1 is going from the sweep 1 position, and it's going... You can see it's like going straight up, but it's not perfectly straight up. And I'm betting basically that the sweep needs to we need to move the sweep a little bit, because we're probably running into... Yeah, we hit... What did we hit? We hit model component 31. What's model component 31? Whoops. Yeah, Slate again is freaking out. It's going to be that the sweep on iteration 8, so that was like way up there. We actually found what we're supposed to do. We probably need to move our sweep position out of the wall slightly. So basically, sweep 1 position should have like... It should be something like... It's perpendicular to normal. It shouldn't be perpendicular to normal, it should just be normal. Let's see if that does it. That's kind of just how vector math and all these ray traces kind of work. Is they're not very reliable. Like, that's why there's a lot of different ways to do movement, and doing it with tracing and sweeping is actually pretty difficult to get correct. There we are. Yeah. Look at that little guy. Just bam, 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 bam. Alright, so what we were fixing was basically when we're running around and we're running up these slopes, just making sure these seams are working well. When we got to these like really big slopes that were causing problems, and getting back up, like these lips, like you'd have a lip on one of these guys, like getting up one of these, we weren't able to do that yesterday, but there he goes, you know, wham, straight up. When we go to some extreme cases for this, way down here, like that guy right there, just right up him. So, you know, this is Bitey running up a hill, right? And just bam, he just gets right up on top of that thing, no problem. So little stupid things in the world aren't just gonna stop it. He's gonna just get right up on it, no problem. You know, even like that, you know, just we throw some boulder or something right there, and we're just gonna get right up on top of it, and it'll work. And that doesn't mean a whole lot in terms of gameplay. That you're really gonna have to worry about. It mainly means that when we're making content, we're not gonna be walking on eggshells when we're putting together a geometry. We're not gonna be because in a lot of games you have to be really, really careful with where you put your geometry. Like, okay, don't put two things that intersect like this, because then the character gets stuck and he can never get out, and like all this awful stuff. Like you'll see in MMOs, a lot of the times you'll have that /stuck command that'll like fling you into the air and then try to put you somewhere else real quick. And those are just hacks to just fix whatever the hell's broken. And with our stuff, since we're only 2 people, we don't have like an army of content creators, putting together our levels for us. We don't want to be just like, okay, I know I can put these boulders apart from each other of this distance and we won't have a problem. I can, Adam will be able to make a log that you can actually get into, and I can say, yeah, that's fine. You can totally do that, and we're not gonna have a problem. Versus, being like, okay, you can't have a log that's shaped like that, or you can't have that. That's too small of a hole for our creature to get into. So you're gonna have to redo that. And since we won't have to deal with that crap, we will hopefully just have an easier time of developing the game. And if we have an easier time developing the game, there'll be more game developed. Which is good for everybody. It's good for us. It's good for you guys. Anyway, I think I'm going to take a short break here. I'm going for 2 hours. What's next after floor? Well, we just go down the list, right? If we are on the ground, then we've got this done. So we have to do the moving and falling in the air, and we also have to do stuck on a wall. And stuck on a wall and moving in the air should be a lot easier than the floor. The floor movement sucks, right? Like that's the nasty stuff to work on, because we're right on objects and we're gonna get stuck in all sorts of crap. Versus, like, if we're stuck on a wall, we'll be sliding down it, but we've already done the hard parts of like figuring out exactly how we can move against surfaces. And falling and moving in the air should be pretty dang easy. So no problems there, because you're in the air, and if you land on something, then you're on the ground. That shouldn't be too insane to get working. So we're going to be working on the moving in the air when I get back, and we'll probably start off by making like a little button I can press that's going to quote unquote jump, and the jump is just gonna, put me in the air like 20 feet above, and we'll just see what happens. So I'll be back. It might be like 5 minutes. All right. Let's see if we can get back into actually doing work. So let's take a look. We should probably do a little bit of work, actually fixing up our code a slight bit. Before we get started on something else, we should probably throw some of this stuff out into functions and pretty things up a little bit, simplify it just a bit. It's also freaking cold in here. I was wondering why the hell it was so cold, and I had not turned the heat on today when I woke up. So, yeah, okay, that's why it would be cold. Yeah, because it's the middle of the night. Alright, so this thing is basically going to say, should we mantle or should we not mantle, normals and all that stuff. So if attempt to mantle, we are going to return just return mantle, attempt mantle, and we're going to pass in what, delta t or whatever. Oh, we'll figure out what parameters we need here real quick. Alright, so this is going to be attempt mantle. So calculate height and calculate bounds. We should probably move these as well. We should have like a get bounds. And a float get height. We should have an F box on our object, which so it's going to be like cached bounds and then like float cached height. So we should have those as well. Call to get the cached bounds. Call to get the cached height. So I'll throw it all the way down there because nobody wants to look at it. And at the start of tick movement, we're going to do a calculate bounds and calculate height. So we're going to set m cached bounds equals that, and cached height equals that. And we're going to start with our height being 0. Yeah, we got cache physics components. We should probably just do like just calculate caches and then throw all 3 of these things in there so it's easier to keep track of. And since this one is something that we might look at a few times, we'll throw it in here. It's our update. Alright. So that's kind of what we had this wrapped in, I think. Oh man. Just having trouble focusing today. So our velocity is our wanted velocity. We should probably be using like current velocity, shouldn't we? Are we even using current velocity anywhere? Yeah, just in move object. So, and that's pretty much garbage. So, let's use it up here. So we can get rid of a few things. We don't want calculate, we want get. We're going to use now. Get bounds. And we want const fbox reference. Now, what is this scope here for that we've got? Like, we had something here. When I moved this, I had something in a scope. If a temp mantle, and then we had calc height and all this stuff. So if it was, if a temp mantle, otherwise, do that so we don't actually just the for loop and then return delta t. So it's literally pretty much like alright, that was just messing with me. My brain was not working there for a minute. Alright, so we need f, the const f vector ref, we need movement direction to impact point, and we need movement sweep collision normal, perpendicular to normal of collision. And we're doing const references here just because compiler will have an easy time optimizing that stuff. Should just inline the whole damn thing pretty much. New position. Are we setting new position to anything? No. So we can also do that. We need sub delta t and delta t, it looks like. And that looks pretty good. That looks like exactly like what we need for this method. So let's fill it out. And otherwise, we need this this other update. This would be return. This is not a mantle operation. This is a change ground, so it's like attempt traverse seam is kind of what we're doing. Call to attempt to traverse a seam. What does this guy take? Well, we're gonna need delta T and sub delta T. We need new position. We're going to need the movement sweep collision normal. And that looks like it. I don't see anything else. Sure there's more, but we won't worry about it yet. So let's see what we missed. We need extra delta T is what it looks like as well. So why don't we get that in there? Alright. Do we need it on the other one as well? Probably. Extra delta T. I don't see it. I see new position. I see new position right there. Now why is it getting all pissed off? Is snap to floor. Snap to floor doesn't take a const new position. So we're going to want to set it to suggested new position right there. That should keep that const. Yeah, const correctness. What are we doing, right? Like, working at Amazon, It's really funny. Inside a CryEngine, actually, which got turned into a lumberyard, they just pound to find const to nothing. The top of the damned engine header file. So the entire code base, like it doesn't respect const whatsoever. Somebody, back years and years ago with CryEngine was just like, to hell with this, and removed const from their entire project. Which it's just awful. It's just like, what the fuck? We're gonna remove an entire thing from the language that has to do with mutability of types. It's just like, nope, we're not doing that. Not doing any of that. Goodbye. And you just kind of just, why? I don't know. I don't know why. You'd have to ask whoever the hell did that back in whenever the hell it was. All right, so this is going to be G default mantle attempt count, and by default we're going to have it so you can mantle only things that are like twice your height. Screw it, we'll do 3 times. And then we're going to have like a special thing here for your movement object where you'll be able to set your... You can actually do that. In 32, get max mantle height. Max mantle iterations. We're going to have set. Yeah, pretty dumb. Excuse me, jeez. All of a sudden, drowning on my own fluids. There's a lot of stupid decisions that go into stuff like that. But I mean, large projects like where you have 100 people or so or more working on an engine, stuff gets real stupid real quick. And you might ask, Kirk, how stupid is stupid? Like, are we talking about, like, sticking a fork in an outlet stupid? Or are we talking about, oops, I forgot to convert from meters to inches to furlongs or whatever the hell, and now we crashed into Mars stupid? Or are we talking about, like, I didn't know sniffing paint was a bad idea stupid? And this is more of the desperate kind of stupid, the kind of stupid that is born from it's 3 in the morning and if we don't get this game out the door, we're all fired stupid. So that kind of like, fuck it, we'll do it live. That kind of stupid. Which has got to be my favorite kind of stupid. Because that's how the whole human race exists at this point in history. Is that kind of stupid is bred into us, and it keeps us alive. The ability to just be like, I don't care, it's going to work. You know what? I found a great way to kill a mammoth. We're just gonna chase him off a goddamn cliff. I don't know how we're gonna do it. But it'd be really a lot simpler to kill these bastards if they just kill themselves. And then it's just like, it's a genius solution, but it's still really stupid. Like, okay, let's get our horses or whatever the hell, and let's just get in front of these mammoths and hope they don't kill us. It's kind of stupid. The first person, whoever, like, why do people have so many dishes that are just rotting food? You know, they just left the food out, or that was all that's left. That kind of stupid that keeps you alive. You're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat this. I don't care if this rotting fish kills me. I'm gonna learn to like it. Let's see, int mantle iterations. Min mantle discovery height. Alright, well, we'll see how that is. What's gotta be like the dumbest discovery in human history? Like, in terms of, like, somebody had to have done something incredibly stupid, but then they discovered something incredibly vital to us being modern man. I mean, would it be the discovery? I mean, I guess it really wasn't a discovery that, like, drinking beer, stuff can't grow in beer, so just a bunch of people getting wasted all the time weren't getting sick. Well, I mean, they're getting sick, but they weren't like getting sick. So all of a sudden, like, the societies that were getting wasted all the time survived horrible disease outbreaks because they were just like, nah, man, just get drunk.